Part 2 of Kim Soo Hyun liver cancer battle. A star who never leaves the bedside. In the cool silence of a hospital hallway at 3:42 a.m., a nurse turned a corner and paused. There on the cold vinyl floor outside room 408 was Kim Soo Hyun, asleep in a chair, holding the hand of a terminally ill boy who had cried through the night. No cameras, no PR staff, no filters. Just an exhausted man, hoodie wrapped around his shoulders, his head tilted against the bed frame like it was his only home. They call him the Night Watcher. And in the months since Kim Soo Hyun's emotional reveal to the world that he has been silently supporting liver cancer patients, volunteering in hospitals, funding care, and holding space for grief, his story has deepened, intensified, and with it, so has the bond between one of Korea's brightest stars and its most overlooked community. A star who never left. After Jiun's passing and the emotional opening of Hearts That Don't Fade, many assumed Kim Soo Hyun would take a break from the hospitals. But he didn't. Instead, he moved into a guest unit inside the Seoul National University Hospital under a pseudonym, Mr. Soo K. And began working as a nighttime volunteer under a specialized palliative care program. Doctors were stunned. Most celebrities come in, take a few photos and donate, said Dr. Han Min-suk, head of oncology. But Mr. Kim, he showed up every night for 3 months. When we saw him wiping a patient's forehead at 2 a.m. or singing old trot songs with grandpas who were too weak to speak, we knew this wasn't an act. Patients came to recognize his rhythm. He'd enter quietly around dusk, bring in hot drinks from a local cafe, and slip into different rooms with handwritten notes, sketchbooks, and even mini audio players filled with custom playlists. One evening, a 72-year-old patient, Ms. Ju, refused to take her medication, until Kim Soo Hyun whispered, "I stayed up all night baking these ginger cookies for you. If you don't take the meds, I'm eating your portion too." She laughed through her tears and swallowed the pills. "You're here again, Hyung." The story of Yoon Dae-hyun, a 22-year-old university student from Busan, quickly became one of the most touching in Soo Hyun's journey. Diagnosed at stage 4 and given just months to live, Dae-hyun had lost his family to a car accident 5 years earlier and refused chemotherapy. He signed a DNR, do not resuscitate, and shut himself off from the world. Until Kim Soo Hyun showed up. "I walked into his room like an idiot," Soo Hyun recounted during a rare speech at a cancer benefit gala. "I told him I was new to games and asked if he could teach me. I stayed there every day after that." From that moment on, they bonded over mobile games, anime, and horror movies. Soo Hyun bought a Nintendo Switch, had it engraved with Dae-hyun's initials, and even brought a projector to turn the hospital ceiling into a movie screen. As weeks passed, Dae-hyun began writing again, his old poetry resurfacing. Soo Hyun encouraged him to publish. In May, a small book titled Dying to Be Heard was released. The cover was illustrated by Kim Soo Hyun himself. All proceeds went to liver cancer research. Dae-hyun passed away a week later. At the funeral, Soo Hyun read aloud a poem Dae-hyun had left for him. "You gave me endings with beginnings inside them. You stayed long after others left. And when my breath stopped, yours kept whispering my name." The rooftop rain promise. Another unforgettable moment came during the monsoon season. A 34-year-old single mother, Kong Hae-jin, requested to see the rain one last time. But hospital protocols wouldn't allow her to leave the ward. So Kim Soo Hyun, after much pleading with the staff, carried Hae-jin, 4 and all, to the rooftop garden in the pouring rain, shielding her with his coat. There, under an umbrella, she closed her eyes and listened. "Can you hear that?" she whispered. "What?" he asked. "My heart. It's not afraid anymore." The video, captured discreetly by a nurse, was shared by Hae-jin's daughter on social media and gained 40 million views in 2 days. She captioned it, "The man who gave my mother her final wish. Not an actor. A guardian. The Silent Star Fund surprise." Unknown to even his agency, Kim Soo Hyun secretly launched a rotating fund named Silent Star, a program that paid off medical debts for families of deceased liver cancer patients who couldn't afford to bury their loved ones. One such family, the Lees, discovered it when a man in a cap showed up at their door with an envelope. Inside, a check for 18 million Korean wons and a note that read, "Your father was loved. I was there. He told me his biggest regret was leaving you with nothing. Let me honor his wish." It wasn't signed, but the handwriting matched letters seen on Soo Hyun's Instagram posts. Since then, over 1.2 billion Korean wons, approximate $920,000, has been distributed under the Silent Star name, everyone from Kim Soo Hyun's personal income. Liver Warriors. A story from the wards. Filming for Liver Warriors, Soo Hyun's passion project, began in June 2025. But production was unlike anything the industry had seen. Instead of massive studios, many scenes were filmed in real hospital rooms, with real patients as extras and consultants. Every character in the drama was inspired by someone Soo Hyun had cared for. The actor insisted on one take per scene, to preserve the rawness. In one particularly powerful scene, his character performs a monologue to a dying child. As cameras rolled, Soo Hyun began to cry. Not scripted, not planned. When asked afterward why he broke down, he simply said, "That wasn't acting. That was Jiun." A secret visit to the gravesite. July 3, 2025. Just after midnight, a taxi driver recalled picking up a man wearing a mask and baseball cap, asking to go to a small cemetery near Suwon. The driver later recognized the passenger as Kim Soo Hyun. Soo Hyun had gone to visit Jiun's grave, her favorite plushie and a bouquet of white lilies in hand. He sat there alone for over 2 hours, the driver said, speaking softly to the gravestone. No media, no fans, just a silent promise kept in the dead of night. The miracle at room 417. Not all stories end in loss. In June, 47-year-old Choi Miran, a liver cancer patient with 2 failed surgeries, was given a bleak prognosis. Her daughter wrote to Kim Soo Hyun in desperation. Within days, Soo Hyun arranged for a leading specialist from Germany to fly in, funding the procedure out of his own pocket. The surgery was successful. Miran is now recovering. "I owe my life to him," she said, holding her daughter. "Not because he's famous, but because he refused to give up on me when I had. When he finally broke." One night, a staff member entered the Soo Hyun room and found him collapsed on the floor, sobbing uncontrollably. Surrounded by photos, thank you notes and memorial drawings, he finally let go of the pain he'd been carrying. The nurse tried to console him. He looked up, eyes swollen, and said, "I held their hands until the end. But now who holds mine?" Conclusion. A light in the darkest places. Kim Soo Hyun's work with liver cancer patients is not a publicity stunt. It's not for awards or headlines. It is, at its core, an act of soul-deep love for people whose stories would otherwise go unheard. Through his tireless commitment, his art, his time, his tears, and his wallet, he has rewritten what it means to be a star. Not one who shines from above, but one who kneels beside you in your darkest night. In the deep stillness of the Seoul night, a single light glowed from the rooftop garden of Seoul National University Hospital. A breeze passed gently through the ivy-wrapped railings, carrying with it the sound of a voice. Soft, broken, yet full of meaning. Kim Soo Hyun stood beneath the stars, reciting lines from a letter written by a patient who had passed just days earlier. "I couldn't take much with me, but I took your laughter. That was enough." The rooftop, once just a place for patients to glimpse the sky, had now become a sacred space, a chapel of sorts. And every Thursday night, Soo Hyun held what the staff had come to call the Promise Hour. The Promise Hour. A ritual of remembrance. The idea had come from Soo Hyun himself, born from grief he could no longer carry alone. Every Thursday at 10 p.m., he gathered with patients, families, nurses, and even janitors. They read letters, played songs loved by the departed, lit small lanterns. Each lantern bore a name, each name a story. One evening, he passed out small blank note cards to everyone present. "Write a message," he said. Not to the people we lost, but to the people we still are. A nurse named Soo Hyun wrote, "I've stopped fearing death because I've started respecting life again." A young patient, Soo Hyun, barely 11, handed Kim Soo Hyun a card that said, "When I get scared, I imagine your hug. That's my superpower." The actor kept that note tucked in his phone case. The secret ward reveal. Deep within the hospital's old West Wing, long shut down and unused, Kim Soo Hyun began funding the transformation of 5 rooms into what's now being called the Memory Wing. With soft pastel walls, hand-painted skies on the ceilings, and plush chairs instead of metal beds, this ward was designed not just for treatment, but for peaceful passage. A place where terminal patients could feel like people again, not just diagnoses. And on the wall of room 2 hung a framed photograph. It was a grainy, sunlit shot of Soo Hyun and his cousin Min Jun, as kids, flying a paper plane by the Han River. Below it, a simple inscription. "Your ending is not your story. Your love is." A father's last wish. One of the most emotionally arresting moments came in early July. Soo Hyun was asked to visit Mr. Nam, a middle-aged single father with days left to live. His only daughter, Hin, was just 6. She had no mother, no extended family. And Mr. Nam was terrified to die without securing her future. He asked Soo Hyun for one thing. "Promise me she'll know she was loved. That she won't forget me." Soo Hyun took it to heart. He secretly arranged for a long-term trust fund, partnered with a family counselor, and recorded over 40 short videos of Mr. Nam reading bedtime stories, giving advice and singing lullabies. At the funeral, Soo Hyun sat quietly in the back row beside Hin, holding her hand as they played her father's final message. "Be strong, my sunflower. And remember the man holding your hand. He's your guardian now." The train station goodbye. Not every patient stayed in the hospital. Some chose to go home. Such was the case with Kim Young-soo, a 65-year-old jazz musician who wanted to die in his hometown of Gyeongju. Soo Hyun arranged his transport. The day of departure,